Whew, puffed out. So, just removing the plastic from there, thanks to 3 rows of double-sided tape and a couple of rows of Sikaflex, just to secure plastic sheeting that was then clamped in place by the lockers as well. Ye gods, that is overkill. That was tiring, to say the least. And obviously, being January, it's cold, the stuff's cracking and shattering every few inches, and the tape doesn't want to give either. I should imagine on a hot day it would be easier, but it would be bloody hot. I'm already puffed out and sweating as it is. Now, here's an example of what I was talking about earlier. Minimal That insulation ain't doing very much. It's probably more acting as a bit of soundproofing. But you can see what I was talking about earlier on. They've just bunged squares in. None of the strengthening parts have got any insulation at all. So even though I've been struggling and it's a long job, you've got to take this stuff down. Be interesting to see other videos. I've watched Project Amber. He's running a box-based or a modular ambulance. That's fully insulated. That was actually built with insulation from the ground up in the actual sidewall. But a panel van like this, I wouldn't take one off the shelf, so to speak, and just convert it, leaving everything intact. It just isn't worth it. You just don't know what you're going to find. But the other thing to mention is I had to take down the plywood furrings from this metal section that everything's screwed into, because it was trapping this part. And this part has been built in one length and then put in the van separately. And the interesting thing about this is on the back, more sheet metal all the way along. That is what was used to secure the lower part of the lockers, and that's going to be very, very handy. I'm going to keep that. In fact, the whole thing's going to go back in. That's why I was taking so much time to actually get it out. That's going to be very handy. That saves me a lot of work. I can put it back in. It's maybe not the best use of space. There might be a bit of a void behind there, but it does give me somewhere to run conduit, because I don't want to run cables that I can't access in the future. But if I can run a nice bit of conduit up there behind there in that void, and also fill it up with insulation, then I'll be happy, because I'll have access to the conduit at that end of the van, this end of the van, both sides. And then I'm quite happy running cables. Otherwise I was toying with the idea of running cable in an external conduit. If anybody's been watching the BabeBus channel, I think she's got a bit over the top. I've never seen so many 115 sockets in the US. We 240 volts in the UK, or 230. But I've never seen so many sockets in a bus, or a van rather, in my life. And she's got a bit shafted by her electrician, I think. But she's doing everything externally. And I've seen a few steampunk designs with using copper pipe and stuff for 12 volts. It looks very pretty. And I might do that for some of the lighting. But most of the electricals I had intended to keep externally. If I can create a big enough void so I've got to pull through, because I may want to add something at a later date, I'm happy. Water pipes, haven't decided yet. Might do a semi raised floor, or even might even run the pipes in the insulation. And that's because I'm going to be putting a heat exchanger in. So I need to bring hot water from the engine through to the hot water tank. Don't want to do it under the floor, under the van rather. That's asking for trouble. Maybe a small raised floor over there, again for access. If I'm going to hide pipes away, I want to be able to get at them. But that's months away yet. In the meantime, I'm a happy bunny now. Got this panel off. It was worth doing because I expected there'd be crap insulation, and sure enough, there's crap insulation. It is stuck in, so I ain't going to fall out. But I'm going to do a better job on that, and I'm also going to fill all the gaps in, and these things, and anything else that needs filling in. And I won't actually be discussing the merits of the insulation I'm going to use. I'm just going to use what I bought. Too much discussion about insulation. End result, one video I read, or what am I on about? One video I watched, summed it up nicely. The best insulation is installed insulation. And beyond that, the lessons that Greg Virgo provided in his very, very comprehensive summary on how to build a camper van, I think is sufficient for pretty much everybody. And I'm going to follow his advice, because he clearly knows what he's talking about far more than I ever will. So now to start on the other side. A shorter run, thank goodness, because this stuff's horrible to remove. Drop the pieces of wood down. I've numbered them all up so I can put them all back up again. I've dropped them down partly because I need to get insulation up there over above that metal stuff. And the whole point of taking the ceiling down is to get these bolts up here and get the blue light holders off the top of the van. The interesting thing is, you may just be able to see it as you can, there's actually mouldings there where the lights are bolted in the roof. It's almost like it's made for it. Probably was. I'm going to be bolting something else up to there, and you'll see that in a later video. I've got some ideas about how I'm going to mount my solar panels and how I'm going to use them. There's a better shot of the bolts. See, there's actually a recess there, unless that's a big washer. I don't think it is. Might be wrong. And there's also this thing. Don't know what that is. Might be a useful place to bring the cables into the reversing camera. And yes, it is going to have a reversing camera. Needs it. Both me and Karen, we both managed to dent cars in the rear through reversing them into posts and things. The worst case was recently, we've even got a camera on the back of our car and we still managed to do it. But I'm going to put a reversing camera in the mirror. Anyway, I shall go back to the stop motion or time-lapse video now and get this side out. Then I can sweep up. And then we start on the floor. And there's a hell of a lot of bolts to take out. Bye for now. Now if you haven't seen one of these before, it's a hoover. It's got a cyclone on the top. These cyclones are dirt cheap on eBay and they are fantastic. The vacuum comes in from the hoover at the top and it creates a cyclone, just like a Dyson hoover. All the dust comes in, speeds up as it goes through the cyclone, gravity pulls it down into that barrel, whatever you call it, that I've got fitted on the top there. So an hour with DIY, a few bits of chipboard, and I've got a hoover now that never ever fills its own dust bag. I just have to disconnect the plastic drum, tip it all out. It's fantastic. I've got a proper dust extraction system as well in the workshop for the woodworking gear, but this thing is brilliant. I got sick to death of constantly emptying the original bag and cleaning the filters and everything else. So I put this together, really dirt cheap. And the other thing I use is a remote control just to turn the thing on and off. But it's a very good way of gluing up mesh basically. Except when bits fall off. That's a Rockler rubber extension hose. Very good. I use that on my router table and stuff like that. It's got an attachment to smaller equipment, sanders, so on and so forth. really, really nice and flexible. It actually comes with multiple attachments, but I tend to find it fits the hoover parts very nicely. Right, let's get all this muck out. It's going to get a bit noisy, so I shall probably mute this out later on. But that was rattling around in there nicely. Right. You do again there, it's full of horrible stuff. So, third of a bucket full of fluff and nasty stuff, just out of the van just then. I will speed that clip up, but I'm sure you don't want to listen to no end of people, no end of hoover noises. Sam, you don't want to touch that, it's horrible. So, next job is floor out. As you can see, sand down. I have 4 runs of unwin track. Probably want to keep the centre ones, I think I've said this before. Not sure I need the ones on the right. But they have a screw every 4 inches. So in order to take the floor out, and to take the especially heater out, because I want to service it, and to do a few other jobs, including finding out why that parking sensor, which you probably can't see, fell out, fitting the tow bar, what else do I need to do? Oh, odds and sods. Anyway, that means jacking the vehicle up so I can get underneath safely. Well, I can get underneath safely, but I'm just a bit too fat to get under there comfortably. So I shall do that via a time-lapse piece of footage. But floor out next. I'm hoping I can reuse this plywood floor. But we'll see what state it's in when I get it out. There's certainly a hell of a lot of holes in it. So I'll switch off for the moment. Some years ago, I used to have a 4-post ramp under here. I don't think I'd have tried to lift a van on it, but I certainly was able to do repairs on cars, gearboxes and so on and so forth. And on eBay, there was a trolley jack. At the time I bought it, I had no idea how big it was. But I kept it, and it's been useful over the years, and it's certainly proven useful today. And that red thing is a safety jack stand. When I sold the 4-post ramp, which was a Laycock Coronation made in 1953, came out of the Rolls-Royce factory in Crewe, and was chain driven and was brilliant. You could leave vehicles on it for weeks on end, no hydraulics, nothing horrible would happen, they would just stay there. Anyway, I bought these safety jack stands, and I'll put a link in the description to, I think there's a YouTube video showing them. You have to jack the vehicle up. You can do all sorts of things with them. You can use the jacking points, or you can put the vehicle on the wheels like I'm doing today, but they can be jacked up independently. You can actually put a jack in the gap and you can raise them up another 6 inches. What I will be doing probably is using these to level the van to a degree, raise it and level the van when I'm working on it, because although the chances of actually working off a level floor are unlikely, I'll have a go at doing it. But for today it's just a case of getting the van up in the air so I can get underneath it without basically banging my head every few seconds. So let's see if I can. I've done the others. So now they're on camera, let's hope I don't make a haul to this. Come on, Sam, out of the way. problem I've got is my carport surface is not level, which is bloody annoying. So things can lean over slightly. No, a bit more. I've got that around the wrong way. Job done. Leaks a bit, unfortunately. Getting old. Getting old. Like it's over. But there you go. That's a crafter up on jack stands. Safe as houses. And and 6 inches of clearance on that side of the carport, which is the lowest side. So now I can get on with stuff under the floor in comfort, which I shall probably do tomorrow. So last video from me today. Say goodbye, Sam. Quick final clip. I've just raised the front ones up to their first position. The van itself now looks like it's pointing upwards, but the floor is flat. Flat with the spirit level, but obviously it's still on the suspension, so when I walk around in it, it's not going to be flat. But I think with the combination of these jacks, these stands, and some levelling jacks, I can get this floor level and stable, and I can work on it. And I may be able to use the spirit level, but if not, at least I know I level, and when I'm standing I know I level, and that helps when you're lining things up. Right, now definitely that is it for the day. Goodbye.